Developing vaccines is usually a very lengthy process, taking on average 8 years to get approved. Since a few years, we have the ability to create mRNA vaccines which can be developed much faster. So how do these vaccines work? Are they safe, and how do they compare to traditional ones? Today we are going to talk about how vaccines work. Welcome to HHR Podcast. First, we must understand how the immune system works. When a virus enters our body, it will attach itself to one of our cells and inject its DNA or RNA into it. This is like a blueprint for our cells, containing instructions on what the cells has to make. So in this case, the virus's RNA will tell our cell to make more copies of the same virus. They become virus factories, pumping out new copies of the virus that can infect even more cells. Naturally, our bodies have a defense system for foreign intruders. The immune system attacks any protein, virus, or bacteria that do not belong in our body. But it takes a few days for it to learn how to attack the intruder. Meanwhile, the virus factories are running non-stop, quickly replicating the virus and spreading it in our body. In other words, we start experiencing symptoms of whatever has infected us. After a few days, however, our immune system has figured out how to attack the virus, will start to produce antibodies. These attach themselves to the virus, preventing them from infecting more cells and marking them for destruction. As we can see, the immune system is remarkable, but it's also slow to mount an attack. That's the reason we get much sick in the first place. So, to give it a helping hand, we develop vaccines. The main idea is to train our immune system to recognize and fight off an infection before it has occurred. Almost like showing our immune system a mark shot of the virus and saying, if you see this, kill it. There are various types of vaccines, but let's take a look at mRNA vaccines today, the new kid on the block. To understand how they work, let's take the recent COVID-19 pandemic as an example. We might have seen the pictures of virus with its distinctive spikes. These spikes allow the virus to attach to specific cells in our body and infect them. And here's the key idea for COVID-19 vaccine. What if we could train our immune system to recognize these spikes by having our body produce them? To do that, researchers took the virus's blueprint, its RNA, and isolated the part responsible for producing the spikes. Armed with this blueprint, they created mRNA or messenger RNA. This is a special form of RNA that can enter your cells and give them instructions. In this case, RNA contains instructions to build the spikes of the coronavirus, not the virus itself, just the spikes. So, mRNA vaccines contain instructions for our cells that tell them to build a part of a virus in large volumes, almost like giving them a recipe to follow. Once this is happening, our immune system kicks into action and starts learning how to attack these intruders. Again, it takes time for the immune system to fight off these spikes, but you won't get sick because it's only the spikes, not the virus itself, and that's it. Our immune system has learned how to attack the spikes of the coronavirus. It destroys all the spikes and even breaks down the mRNA vaccine itself. The only thing left in our body are special B cells or memory cells. These can linger around for months or years until the same virus infects you again. When that happens, the B cell can produce the correct antibodies right away, preventing them from virus spreading and making us sick. What's interesting about this mRNA technique is that it's relatively quick to develop a vaccine as soon as we know the DNA or RNA sequence of a virus. And secondly, because the vaccine only makes our body produce a part of a virus, we can't get sick. More traditional vaccines use weakened versions of the actual virus. This also triggers an immune response but could also give you mild symptoms. Now we know how mRNA vaccines work. What about their safety? The biggest misunderstanding about this technology is that the mRNA in the vaccine can enter our cells and changes our very own DNA. But that's not true. mRNA is very fragile and only survives a few years in our bodies. And maybe in the near future, it will open a new door for different uncurable diseases. Thank you for listening to us till now. We'll be back in next episode. Till then, stay healthy and stay safe. Wear mask for you and everyone. Goodbye.